Folks, I hope everyone's doing well, first and foremost. Hope you had a good weekend. This is another one of my morning commute lives, and it'll be pretty short. Fortunately, I have a not busy schedule, which means something's going to happen that's going to screw up my schedule, because that's pretty much what always happens. And oh, the fire truck guys are out. The firemen are out with the fill the boot. By the way, if you ever see firemen with the boot, they collect for local charities as well as for firefighters' families who've been injured or lost their lives. So always donate if you can. Come on, bud. Dude, come on. Come on. There you go. There's a box truck on the left lane and is driving like 10 miles an hour. I think he's having an issue. And people want to get around him, but they don't use the signal, so I don't know what they're doing. Hey, good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Dan. So, folks, stupid people that I see. Why are people burning other people's Teslas? Like, that kind of sucks. That makes you an asshole. That doesn't make you anti-fascist. If anything, that's what the Nazis did. They went and burned other people's shit. Like, to me, you don't like Tesla, don't buy Tesla. You want to protest them, protest them. Don't go to someone's home or go to their vehicle at the grocery store and burn their shit. Why? Can someone explain this to me? Because I think it's a bunch of horse shit. Well, yeah, exactly. Be kind and helpful. And like Neil says, and these hey, KP Heathen, hey, Daryl, they're not being kind and helpful. They're being anuses. I mean, seriously. That's a class A rectum right there. Like, why are you going to someone's home or to their vehicle, the personal vehicle, and tearing their shit up, right? And especially the lower end Teslas, like the generic little 4-doors, they run about 40 grand. That's kind of the same price range as like a Toyota or a Honda, 30 to 40, depending on what you put in it, obviously. A lot of those cars belong to Uber drivers. Yeah, no kidding. Generally peaceful, mostly peaceful. A lot of those vehicles belong to guys and girls who work for a living, who are trying to do like the environmental thing. And I get it. In a city, I can see where an electric car makes sense. Out here in the country, I work in the energy sector. I'm 4 hours from any town. Okay, I guarantee you, Marfa, Texas, does not have a charging station. You can go to the Holiday Inn and plug in and wait 12 hours. You may as well sleep. Theory of stupidity is playing out in front of it. That's a good reference, man. He wrote the theory in 1945. Well, he wasn't wrong. And you look at it, what did the brown shirts do in Germany in the 1930s? They went and destroyed businesses. They pulled people out of their cars. They burned their shit. Like right now, if any of you or hey, Grit and Grace, any of you are students of history, what we are seeing right now, these are not Democrats. My dad was a Democrat, right? JFK was a Democrat. This is leftist. These are communists. I can't describe it anymore. I'm probably going to get put in YouTube jail for saying this, but it's true. You're going and you're burning. What about an Uber driver, right? You just ruined that woman or that guy's livelihood. Why? And to me, it makes no. You don't like Tesla, sell their stock. You don't like Tesla, protest them. You don't like Tesla, I don't know. There are other things you can do. You can write to your congressman and say, hey, we need to ban Tesla in my state, or something like that. You don't go and you burn someone's livelihood. Even if they're not an Uber driver, they got to get to work. So now they have to go figure out a ride. It just, to me, this makes no sense. You're angry at Elon, put memes of the guy, go protest the guy. Don't go to your fellow citizen. This is why people are pissed off right now. Honest to God, this is why the election went the way it did. Okay, and I'm not saying Trump's an angel, right? He's a bit of a shit in his own right. But And, you know, I don't think he's getting everything right. And I don't think any president does. So I think that's the worst job in the world, because no matter what you do, you're going to piss someone off. Even if you're super smart and make good decisions. Hey, we are the resistance. But why are you lashing out at other people? You know, not every if this person bought a Tesla 4 years ago because it's what they could afford, maybe their state like California gave them some kind of incentive, and that's all they can afford, and you just burn their car. Those folks in the current inflation won't have the money to go get another car like that, not short notice. If they didn't have full insurance, you just fuck them. Excuse my French. Also, keep in mind, if this is categorized as terrorism, and here's another caveat, you look at your car insurance, my home insurance, it does not cover acts of terror. As a matter of fact, my home insurance very clearly states it does not cover acts of nuclear violence, which scares the shit out of me, because I'm like, that means somebody in the insurance sector did this elaborate analysis and said, you know what? We can't cover if you get nuked. And that's kind of horrifying, right? But, you know, if they categorize it as an act of terrorism, then you may not be covered under your own insurance, even if you have full coverage, because they're going to say it's terrorism and not arson, right? Hey, JMA Merkel, what's going on? And this just pisses me off, y'all. Why are they acting like this? Oh, New Jersey plates in Texas. This poor guy is absolutely lost. Like, he keeps slowing down and speeding up. He's like, I'm not going to pick on the New Jersey guy. He's clearly confused. He's like, I don't know where these roads are going. What the hell's happening here? Okay, he's on the right lane now, poor guy. And the wife is pointing. They're like, we don't know where we are. Totally legit. I get it. You go to a new state and you get lost, especially you get caught in weird traffic. This is awful. I hope they prosecute every one of these people. Now, ironically, the stupid backfires, right? So one guy was throwing Molotovs at a charging station, which I don't agree with that behavior either, but at least he wasn't targeting some random person. He was targeting the company, at least in his mind. And when he threw the Molotov, it came apart in midair and set him on fire. So then he ran away on fire, because clearly he didn't listen to the stop, drop, and roll part of his childhood. So he ran away flaming Antifa. That's terrible. And he ran off on fire. So then now a cop was already on his way, and there comes this flaming guy, and now the cop's like, holy shit, this guy's on fire, and he's running from me. So now they're trying to chase this idiot to stop him from dying. It's not like, oh, you committed a crime and you're fleeing the scene. Like, he's in a complete panic. They did get him. He wound up with 2nd and 3rd degree burns on his back, which you know is going to be a terror. Hey, Phoenix, that's going to be, people are just crazy. I think an eye for an eye. Well, Phoenix, why would they do that? Like, look, say I'm angry at Phoenix, right? I don't know Phoenix. Welcome to the channel, by the way. And I'm angry at Elon Musk. Why would I take it out on you? Like, you've done nothing to me. That's your car. You spent money on that. That's just terrible. And then what scares me is, at what point does it progress? And they say, oh, we got away with burning cars and we burned the dealership. Maybe let's go Molotov someone's house. Okay, and again, that to me is exactly what the brown shirts did. That's what the Nazis did as they came to power. And what a lot of folks don't realize is, as soon as Hitler took office, he took power, one of the first things he did, the people were saying, hey, the brown shirts are out of hand. So you know what he did? He created what ultimately became the SS, the Gestapo, and sent them after the brown shirts. And they became his cannon fodder. He threw a bunch of them in jail as a symbolic gesture and say, oh, look, I've reduced crime. But he used them. And I don't know if our friends or Tesla burning friends are understanding that. But yeah, why? It just doesn't make sense. Way up in the hospital, he's going to get charged. Then someone apparently decided to throw a Molotov, and this is unconfirmed, I'm not sure where it is, threw a Molotov at a bar with Harleys, which is the dumbest thing in the world to do. So what happened? The MC that was in there having beers, the motorcycle club came out and beat their asses. And then they duct taped them and left them in the lawn of the bar, and then called the police and like, hey, these guys were like trying to burn our bikes. So I don't think the jail time is going to teach them a lesson. The ass kicking from a motorcycle group definitely will traumatize them, which is good. Maybe they'll learn something. But folks, people are acting insane. And a lot of us have been talking about it, but you know, I always kind of twist my videos like, hey, how does this apply to us day to day? Like, how does it apply to us as just people out here? And the truth of the matter is, you got to pay attention to what's around you. You got to look at your area and say, do I want to park here? Do I want to park in the covered area? Do I want to maybe take an Uber and not be in my own vehicle? Do I want to have different things in my go bag in my vehicle? So, hold on, this poor girl, she's got a baby and she's pregnant and she's trying to cross. Come on, people, let her through. Good Lord. I just blocked all the traffic in my lane. I think I pissed everyone off. They were trying to go around me. I'm like, she's pregnant and she has a stroller. Let the girl through. What's wrong with you? Stupid asses. He wasn't even paying attention. I don't know what he's doing. Anyway, stupid people. I've taken teenagers egging for Halloween camp. Thieves beware. Yeah, but Grandma Merkel, you can wash egg off, right? You can clean that. You can't wash fire. Like, they burn your vehicle, you're toast. And yeah, it's just going to be, I'm worried that if we don't lock this down somehow, if we don't discourage this nonsense, which it sounds like they're trying to, what are we going to wind up with? We're going to wind up with a situation where they're going to say, you know what? We got to burn cars. We got to burn dealerships. We burned down Target. We burned down police stations. Let's start hitting houses. And then what happens, right? If someone tries to Molotov my house and I actually catch them, I might go out and react badly. I might delete that person from the planet. And if I delete them from the planet, now I have to go to court to explain why I deleted the other person, even though they were throwing a Molotov, right? It just, people aren't thinking. Everything has become so visceral and emotional. And I think we've given voice to a lot of demented people in our society. And I think it's hurting our communities. There's another movement on TikTok now, which has gotten a lot of backlash, where they said, if you get an Uber driver that has a Tesla, give them 1-star rating. Now, having done the Uber thing between 2 jobs I had, because I got hired, I left one job, I was hired, but they couldn't bring me on for about a month and a half. So I did Uber kind of to like keep myself busy. If you get a lot of bad reviews, it hurts. There's like a ranking in Uber, right? So, hey, Hudson, what's going on? Hey, Neil, anybody I missed? Sorry. There's a ranking system. So the more 5 stars you get, the more compliments, the more tips you get higher scores. And then it allows you to accept reservations, which pay more. It allows you to accept VIP drivers or VIP passengers who are like, 5-star passengers who have gotten good reviews from the drivers, and they give you more percentage, right? And if a bunch of people go in and give this poor person 1-star reviews, they hurt that person's ability to earn. But what did the person do to you? Because they bought a car from a company you didn't like? Like, I don't understand it. And again, a lot of car insurance will cover crime, but it will not cover terrorism. So if here's the double-edged sword. If the DOJ, if Pam Bondi says, hey, if you're burning down Teslas and dealerships, you're making violence for a political goal, that is terrorism. The insurance companies can then say, well, you know, Pam Bondi said it's terrorism, and if you read your contract, we don't cover terrorism. You need a terrorism rider. There's no Uber out here. You better have a nice welding tank. Yeah, either that or you need to be a really good welder, okay, because he may need help out in the field. But yeah, it's just, I don't get it. Why would they do that? You're just hurting other working class people. You're hurting other people from feeding their kids. And you think that's going to help you in future elections? And you notice it's radio silent from that party, except a couple. I know Fetterman was not a fan of this. He's like, no, that's just, you're all idiots. Like, he has no filter. I kind of like him. He reminds me of the East Coast, the old school Democrats. Hudson Valley would probably remember guys like Bill Bradley, Pat Moynihan. What was his name? I can't remember the other guy's name. These were blue collar, unfiltered. There was a lady too. She was a Italian gal, Gagliano or something. She was a rep. And they were about real life. They were about representing small business and minorities, which is great. But they were practical people. They're like, you don't commit arson, you're an idiot. And they'd call it out. And we're not seeing that. Hey, bye, Teresa. Take care. So, folks, from our standpoint, pay attention to what's going on in your area. I've said it on other videos. Get on your Nextdoor app, your Instagram, your Facebook, groups in your neighborhood. You don't have to post. You don't have to go make noise and get in arguments. Just other people will do it for you, right? Other people will provide the news feed. TikTok and X have been my unofficial news sources. Stuff just comes through there all the time. And you just catching the escaper from the dairy farm and caught a ride on it. That's awesome. A shit sprayer. And I actually know what that is. I don't remember the official term, but yeah. It's you want to understand what's going on in your area. If you see people saying, hey, there's a protest at the mall today, and you don't have to watch it all the time, but check in every few hours and just scroll around. What's going on in my area, right? You might find a farmer's market or a gun show or some other event. That's great. But if there's a protest, if they're like, hey, there's like a SWAT team by the bank on 5th Street, you probably don't want to go down 5th Street for a while. Let them do their shit. Keep the hell away, right? Oh, there's a car accident on Highway 15. Well, don't drive Highway 15, right? From a pragmatic standpoint, you avoid problems, but it also kind of gives you a vibe of the area. And if you start realizing that there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of misbehavior, that might be a good indicator to say, you know what, screw it. I'm staying home. I'm done. I'm not going to this place tonight. Not that you should live in fear, but you may want to choose a different activity to do, or you may want to go a different route to get where you're going and say, you know what, I'm going to avoid this city. I'm going to take the loop around the city and go stay somewhere else and let them deal with their shit. Still crazy as ever, just further apart. But to Merkel's point, I think, yeah, you have crazy in the country, but everyone has their own space and they respect their space. And I think that's a big difference. Because in the city, nobody respects shit, apparently. But folks, you know, be mindful of the things that are happening in your community so you can avoid this kind of stuff. And I would encourage you, if you witness or see an incident, take some pictures or video. As a matter of fact, I would recommend every 6 months, take pictures of your car or your home in the condition it's in at that time, even if it has construction or whatever repairs going on. So in the event you have to make an insurance claim, you have a relatively recent picture of the condition of that vehicle. So you can say, look, this is what the vehicle looked like on this date. And then they did whatever they did. Now this is what it looks like today. Having that reference point does help. As a matter of fact, I'd recommend everyone take videos or pictures of their home possessions, jewelry, or just take pictures of the home in general. Keep them private, obviously, But in the event you have a home fire or any other disaster, hell, just a busted pipe, you can then show to the insurance company, hey, this is a video of the condition of my home at that juncture, and this is what was in there. So there's a rainbow flag and the lesbians run down the road about a mile from me. Hey, little lone, how are you? So in any case, folks, look, be safe out there. Pay attention to your communities, what's going on, know the vibe of your area, and be mindful of that. Be mindful of the people who are coming in and out of your area. Know who the normal crowd is, you know, and it's not being racial. It doesn't matter what color they are. I know the folks out here, right? Regardless of color or religion or whatever, you see a work truck going down and you got a black guy, a white guy, and two Mexicans in the back, and they all got their coveralls and their hard hats. You're like, they're going to work, right? I see, especially in the roads out here in West Texas, I see a lowrider with guys with gang bandanas. I'm like, that gang does not reside in this area. I know that you motherfuckers are not supposed to be here. So therefore, I need to keep an eye on you. You know, you see that van or that truck driving slow past the kids playing on the street, and you know that is not a local contractor and that is not part of the construction crews that normally reside in your area. You probably need to watch that vehicle. They may be looking for kids to grab. You know, understanding what's around you, understanding what the normal vibe of your community is versus a sudden change in the energy of your area can tip you off. And again, at the end of the day, we can't stop things from happening, but if we can get a good heads up, we can get ahead of the curve a little bit. That gives us some room to react. I've said it before, and I'm sure the other creators here will, hey, Guardian, the other creators here would agree with me. The prepping community on YouTube, TikTok, wherever we are, Instagram, we tend to be about 4 to 8 weeks ahead of the curve. I've noticed that when the Rona came by, we were talking about it in October, November. They shut us down in March. We actually had a pretty big lead on that one because we were like, what the hell's going on over there? But other things, the riots, these inflationary things, we were talking about it a couple of months ahead, right? We kind of see things shifting and we're like, that's not, could end badly. We need to pay attention to that. So we're watching what's going on and we're paying attention. What happened to the general public during Rona? We were already stocked up for the most part. If we could financially and time-wise do it. What happened? You had lines around the corner in Sam's and people fighting over toilet paper. We had toilet paper, right? Because we bought it over 8 weeks. We bought a pack here, we bought a case there, we bought a case there, and we kind of stocked up. They waited till the president said we're shut down. Then everyone hit the stores. If we hit the stores, there was more either curiosity or to see if we were missing any little things we needed to fill the gap on. Truthfully, all we can ask for is that heads up, that little window where we can get ahead of the general population. Because once the general populace figures it out, it becomes a hot mess. Guardian, I was seen as crazy when CV was still in China and I was warning people. True story, I wrote a 3-page report. I used to do kind of a little bit of the S5 thing for my last guard unit. And I would do reports of incidents occurring around the world as a summary, which is kind of the basis of my Monday afternoon situation reports. I used to do something similar and I present it to the unit. And one of our medics was like, it's just the flu, man. It's not going to be a big deal. I'm like, no, I'm telling you that they're building a 10,000 bed hospital out of the blue sky for no reason. Something has scared the Chinese government. Yeah, no, I think it's going to blow over. It's going to blow over. And not 2 months later, we were shut down and I was transitioning out already. That was like one of my last drills. And sure enough, like 3 months later, they all wound up doing shelter ops because of the Rona. Yeah, people didn't listen. During the vid, I noticed that all the stores were stocked up on Well, not in my area. Our county was one of the top 4 in America for alcohol sales. We never shut down because it's all energy out here, solar, wind, and oil and gas. Like, all of us were mandatory workers. So we were always out and about. I'm pretty sure, though, I had to go to a convention in February of 2020, just before, about a month before we shut down. And I came back wicked sick for about a week and a half. And I sounded like Yoda. And I wasn't on my ass sick, but I was the cough, the headache, mainly a headache. Every time I've got Rona, it gave me, I felt like I had a hangover for a week. And it kicked my wife's butt, like it floored her. And but then we caught it, and then when everyone else was getting all these variants, we get these little colds for about 2 days, and then they'd be gone. And I'm very convinced that we caught it early in 2020 when I was at that convention. And so we were already exposed. And so as the variations came by, our body kind of already saw this illness. But people who hadn't gotten anything, they were getting clobbered. Like, it was bad in a lot of places. Disappeared. I knew we were. Right. When the N95 mask disappeared, we realized, yeah, shit was happening. And but we got creative, but we were at least ahead of the curve. We kind of watched and we're like, I'm going to prepare just in case. And that just in case clause really helped all of us. So folks, be smart, pay attention to the vibe of your area, because I'm afraid, maybe not in the country, but if you're going in cities or you're commuting to and from, they're getting bold. They're throwing Molotovs at passing cars. I mean, it's nutty. It's absolutely insane. And yeah, in Texas and a lot of places, they're arresting them. Even California repealed that stupid law. And so now they can arrest them for any kind of misdemeanor or any kind of threat. But still, you know, the damage was done, right? You have a whole group of criminals who got away with it for 4 years before they repealed that ignorant law. And, you know, it's been a hot mess everywhere. So fire extinguishers are your friend. And then again, if you have a battery-powered car, you may not want to fight that fire. That battery, the lithium, will burn very hot. You may not want to be anywhere near it. Let the firefighters, because they're going to have to use chems on that. Media fin, no matter how loud we scream people to step out of the way. Guardian, that's a very good way to put it. But in any case, folks, look, you guys be safe out there. Be careful. Pay attention to your area, the vibe of your community. And most importantly, take care of yourselves and your people. Try to stay healthy if you can. Try to keep as stocked up as you can in the inflationary environment we're in. It is not easy. You're going to have to get a little creative. But be careful, be safe, stay prayed up. And who is it? What is, was it Prepper now says prayed up and prepped up? Somebody says that. No, Prepper now says stick to the plan. Shit, now I got everyone's catchphrases mixed up. But in any case, you guys know what I'm saying. Be good, be safe, be careful, and I will see all of you later on this week. You guys take